And we're off with week 4 of the NFL schedule. We got the Dallas Cowboys and New York Giants. Dallas victorious in what I'm calling just an ugly game that unfortunately I was forced to watch to do this podcast. But I think there's a lot better games on the schedule that we're making picks for in week 4 coming up on today's Peacock and Williamson.
NFL analyst Brian Peacock and former NFL scout Matt Williamson bring you expert NFL analysis every day in less than 30 minutes. Get an inside look at the NFL on the field and in the front office with elite breakdowns to next-level analysis and in-depth information only for the real NFL fans. This is Peacock and Williamson, and it starts now.
Welcome to the Peacock and Williamson NFL Show. Brian Peacock alongside Matt Williamson at BD Peacock at Williamson NFL. Thanks everybody for making us your first listen on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We love our everydayers out there, and we appreciate all the new listeners jumping in to Peacock and Williamson Daily. Subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Today's episode of Peacock and Williamson is brought to you by FanDuel. Place your first $5 bet at FanDuel, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets. Guaranteed. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, we're going to be making picks for all the games this weekend, including another dual Monday night affair. But, Matt, we got to start with Thursday night, and it was the Dallas Cowboys victorious over the New York Giants by a score of 20-15. And, by the way, we nailed our 6-pack of picks from Wednesday's episode. 5.5 points. Thank you, Brandon.
Yep.
He's seemingly automatic until we needed it, Matt. And so the 5.5 still stuck with the New York Giants. We both took the points with the Giants at home in this one against the Cowboys because of the fact that we thought they were two pretty mediocre teams. They looked like for the first 3 weeks. And guess what? Through 4 weeks, they still look like two mediocre teams. Now the Cowboys improved to 2-2, so they helped themselves out there. 1-3 now are the New York Giants. Cowboys probably lucky to pull the Giants here with the way they're playing. But man, I was watching this game and it was really tough for me not to turn it off. If it wasn't my job to watch the game last night, I would have turned it off. And it was, semi-close. It was a good game. It was within one score in the end, but I don't know. It just was kind of boring, bad football. Not necessarily because there's a ton of mistakes everywhere, but I was just like, man, I felt like I was watching a preseason game almost the way I was watching this. Was I way off? Was I just in the wrong headspace watching the Thursday nighter last night?
No, I thought it was a really bad product. I've been saying for years, I think Thursday Night Football is bad. And even listening to Al Michaels, he's just talking about the flags. I mean, it seems like there's a flag one after another, offsetting penalties that don't even show up in the box score. And just, I wrote unwatchable and sent it out on Twitter. That was it's late in the second quarter, I think. And I don't think Dallas is good all of a sudden. They didn't show me anything to say, boy, this is great. And making matters worse, two of the guys that you tune in for, Micah Parsons leaves on a cart late in the game, and Neighbors ends up with a concussion and can't finish the game too. The things you were excited to see were taken away maybe for an extended stretch. The Parsons thing doesn't look good at all. To the Dallas's credit, I mean, they've been gouged on the ground. I mean, they gave up 464 rushing yards over the last 2 weeks, but they held the Giants to 26 yards last night and 1.1 yard per carry. That might say more
Giants. 6 yards. There you go. They got that fixed up, but they allowed 23 catches to 2 receivers, Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson, which was the entire offense for the New York Giants in this one. There was only 3-4 other receivers that caught balls on the entire team, aside from Malik Neighbors and Wan'Dale Robinson. And so if Malik Neighbors is out for the Giants, he's your only dynamic player on the entire offense right now. And if he's out, it's going to be tough scoring points and getting yards, especially chunk yards if Malik Neighbors isn't out there. 12 for 115 by the way, for a Malik Neighbors, the rookie, who was just awesome out of the gate for the New York Giants.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I mean, the whole offense, I mean, Neighbors is really impressive, but I've always thought Robinson's a little bit underrated as a true slot machine. I mean, he catches 11 balls for 71 yards, and that's a huge day for him. But that's good. I mean, that's fine. But can anyone else do anything? And yes, the Cowboys stopped the run very, very well. But then Daniel Jones, throws the ball 40 times, and they only sack him once. And, they didn't do that great against the pass then. And Lawrence was hurt a lot in this game. A lot of people in and out. I don't know. I mean, I didn't take much away from it. I don't want to spend a ton of time with it because, yeah, the Cowboys won. Good for them. I'm happy we took the points. Aubrey missed that kick. That made my day. And bad product. I mean, I think the NFL needs to evaluate this stuff.
Yep. You don't want a bad product, and you don't want extended preseason to go into week 4 of the NFL, right? And that's what this one felt like. So that's a bad sign in prime time. Your prime time product, even with a really intense NFC East rivalry here, it didn't really feel that way. And usually with Giants and Cowboys prime time, it's a playoff atmosphere. I don't know. I didn't get that vibe from this one
either.
I mean, hey, Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are good, and I don't know what's going to go on with the defense there. They obviously did figured something out with the run there in this game. What was it? Just to go ahead and beat us, Daniel Jones and rookie wide receiver. Go ahead, we're gonna do everything we can to stop the run here. No Parsons going forward could be disastrous for the Dallas Cowboys, because then it'll just be all Dak and all CeeDee Lamb. I did like CeeDee Lamb's not a running back, but they gave him the ball 3 times or 3. They're just trying to find ways to get the ball into CeeDee Lamb's hands, which I think is a smart way. And he did end up having a touchdown in this one.
I guess we said all the Giants have was Wandell and especially Neighbors. What's Dallas have outside of Lamb too? Like, hey, I like the manufactured touches too, and the long touchdown's great, and I liked what we saw from Dak, but I mean, the O-line is a work in progress. The other weapons are, I'm still not sold, that they're going to be this great run stuffing team, and certainly not a great run offense. But for them, at least they get 10 days off before they come here to Pittsburgh, who I'm sure is going to put 100 tight ends on the field and run the ball like crazy at them and see what happens,
Wow, the Hunter Luepke disrespect, man.
Right. If we're talking about him, that's good for him. But if that's your third best weapon, we got some issues.
Let's move on from this game. The Dallas Cowboys, though, 2-2. They needed this win, and they got it on the road at the New York Giants, 20-15. And thank you, Brandon Aubrey, for making one of our picks look good from our 6-pack with the Giants covering the 5.5, or the Giants getting those 5.5 points to help us win that bet. Looking at the rest of our 6-pack, just a reminder to the listeners out there, because we have made picks for 6 of the games on the schedule so far. So go back and hear our reasoning on Wednesday's show about those. One of them was the Thursday nighter. So we got that one with the New York Giants and getting 5.5 points. We both took Arizona we both took Arizona, right? Yeah, we both took Arizona against Washington at home, giving up 3 points. We both took Pittsburgh, 2-point favorites at the Indianapolis Colts. We were split on the Carolina Panthers and the Cincinnati Bengals, and I'm drawing a blank of which one we took here, Matt. I think I took Cincy, you took Carolina. Carolina getting 4.5, by the way.
I think so. It's in Carolina, right? Yeah. Andy Dalton revenge game.
Yeah. And then Jacksonville Jaguars, you took the Houston Texans. Favored by 6.5 at home. And then we both took the Cleveland Browns on the road at the Las Vegas Raiders, and getting 1.5 points there with the Cleveland Browns. So that was our 6-pack of picks. And you still feeling good about those? We're 1-0, baby, this week.
Yeah, we're rolling. We're gonna be on fire this week. The better games are to talk about today, though. There's some good ones here.
Yeah, that's really good. Vikings, Packers. We got the Ravens that are, they need to get a win, but they've got the Buffalo Bills, which might be the hottest team in the NFL right now, and a couple of Monday night football games as well. Coming up, we're going to finish up making picks for week 4 of the NFL schedule next. Today's episode of Peacock and Williamson brought to you by Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.5% APY on uninvested cash, receive unlimited 1% deposit bonuses, and rewarded with some handsome 3% retirement boost on an IRA account. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at robinhood.com/gold Terms apply for product-specific disclosures. Visit robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. This episode also brought to you by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. And why is it America's #1 daily fantasy sports app? Well, that's because Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is you pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch those winnings roll in. And Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks, your picks are still alive at Prize Picks. And so that is the injury insurance policy. You're not going to find that one anywhere else. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win on that $5 play to get the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. All right, here we go. Let's get into some picks for week 4. The one thing I do like about Thursday Night Football is it does get me pumped up for the rest of the weekend and the rest of the week to happen. And knowing that there's going to be a lot of games that aren't quite the snoozer that the Thursday nighter was. Sorry to crush the I'm sure there's some Cowboys and Giants fans that are annoyed with us by just trashing on that game. But man, I didn't enjoy that one. There's some other ones that are going to be a lot better. Let's start with the Saints and the Falcons.
All right.
NFC South. The NFC South's going to be competitive this year, Matt. I think it's going to be a lot more fun than we've seen in years past. The Saints started off really hot, came back down to earth a little bit last week, 2-1 now at the 1-2 Falcons. You know the Falcons want to even the playing field and come out of this one at 2-2. And it is the Atlanta Falcons at home favored by 2.5, which is interesting because through 3 weeks, the Saints have looked like a lot better team than the Atlanta Falcons.
They sure have, but one of my favorite things to do is betting on teams that recently lose a good center. And Eric McCoy, I thought, was by far the best lineman the Saints had. And I had a lot of questions about their line coming into the season, which they overcame well early on. But man, you want to watch a beatdown. Watch Jalen Carter against the Saints O-line last week. It was really something. Atlanta doesn't have anybody like that, but I still think that they're an equal team. And with the center being out and maybe the Saints coming back to earth a little, give me the Falcons.
I'm going to take the Saints, and I'm not going to take the Falcons until they start giving Bijan Robinson the ball near the goal line and start putting more points on the board, especially for those fantasy owners that drafted him. I didn't, so I'm not bitter about it. But, this is the second year in a row. It's like, okay, Bijan Robinson, let's go. You drafted him. You got a super talented running back. You guy or not. I'm on board with the Saints. I really like what I've seen from them early in the season. And I'm a believer in the offense, and I think they got more pieces on defense than we gave them credit for coming into the year. I think Atlanta being favored over the Falcons right now is a bit much. So I'm taking the points with the Saints pretty easily in this one against the Atlanta Falcons. I like this one a lot, actually.
This is a much better rivalry than a lot of people I think realize. These two cities don't like each other either. Like,
right?
Yeah, people live in the North and West. I don't think realize that.
And this is the first go around, right, for the new coaching staff.
Yeah,
with the Saints. Raheem Morris was never an assistant with Atlanta, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so there you go. All right, it's going to be a phone. Maybe
that could be a good one.
Does that help with the coaching staff's been through a rivalry, but not? I guess it's not like a college atmosphere, but
yeah, I don't know about that.
That skews it all to the Saints' favor, knowing a little bit more about the rivalry, knowing how the crowd is going to be. I guess it would hurt more if the new coaching staff wasn't ready for like crowd noise in an away game.
Yeah, I mean, I think when these teams play, I know they're both in a dome, but the Saints have a much better home field advantage, and this one's in Atlanta.
Good news for the Falcons is Kirk Cousins looks a lot better than he did at the start of the season. So that's a big help for them. I still like the Saints in this one, especially getting points against the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to wait and see on the Falcons and see when they really show me something. Maybe it's this week against the New Orleans Saints. We'll see.
Totally understand it.
And it wouldn't shock me at all if these NFC South teams just kind of go back and forth and, they end up having good matchups instead of just all being bad and ending up with 7, 8 wins, 9 wins. They're all better, but competitive, and they still end up with, 7, 8, 9 wins.
Yeah, I can see the Saints, Falcons, and Bucks all beating up on each other pretty good.
Yeah. The Los Angeles Rams are at the Chicago Bears. Both teams coming in at 1-2. Big win for the Rams last week over the San Francisco 49ers. The Chicago Bears, though, at home are favored by 3 points.
Can the Rams do what they did against the Niners? I have a lot of respect for the Bears D, but I don't have any respect for their offense right now or their running game, and they just have a quarterback that's learning. Give me the Rams, and this is basically all McVay for me.
I hate this one.
I don't like it either.
The 49ers lost the game last week more than the Rams won it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And there were times where the Rams looked just bad. Like they couldn't stop anybody on defense. They couldn't do anything on offense. But the Bears are clearly not ready for prime time. I think this could be something that looks a lot more like what we saw at Dallas and New York on Thursday night, where it's a little bit ugly, but kind of stays close, which makes me want to take the points. So yeah, give me the points in the visiting Rams.
I probably would take the under, if anything.
40.5. Yeah, I could absolutely see that.
Mm-hmm. Side note, I mentioned you off the air that my man Wig had some problems, but it sounds like we could have weather in Florida up to like the Carolinas. There's hurricane stuff going on, so just something to keep note. Obviously, the Falcons game's indoors, and this one doesn't count. But there are some games. I think Tampa's at home that we need to pay attention to weather.
Let's get to that game next. Then the Philadelphia Eagles are on the road at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This should be a good one. Philly on the road, favored by 2 points. Right now, the weather looks okay in Tampa, but like you mentioned, that could be a factor here. Does that factor for you with the Eagles visiting the Bucs?
I think the Bucs O-line is starting to struggle a little bit. Like Graham Barton's a really good prospect, but he's learning a new position. The guards haven't been great. Besides Wirfs, the O-line's been problematic. And I mentioned Jalen Carter, what I watched him do last week, and I do think the Eagles front is still pretty good. And I definitely think they have an O-line advantage. I wish I knew for 100% if Cansey, Vea, and Winfield were playing on defense or not. I might get one of them, 2 of them. But I'm going to take the Eagles on the road, even without any receivers, though. We're not going to get Smith or Brown in this game.
Now, I said the weather looks okay in Tampa, but there is tropical cyclone warnings to watch for there, and rip current, high surf advisory. So don't go surfing if you're going to watch this football game. But it actually gets better throughout the weekend, and Sunday looks like a balmy 89 degrees with potentially a thunderstorm there, and wind at about 8 miles per hour, which is sub cyclone level.
Yeah.
We'll see. Could be.
I still like the Eagles lineman in this one in Barkley, especially if we're getting weather.
The Florida weather is so weird to me because I'm a California kid, and people are like, "Oh, how could you live in California?" And like the fear of earthquakes or whatever. I was like, "Oh, I'm much more of a fear of tropical storms and hurricanes in Florida than to me." But I guess once you grow up in something, it changes your outlook. Anyway, sorry.
Who you got? But I got the Eagles here. I'm going to lay the points on the road, betting on linemen.
I'm going to go home dog. Weird weather. They're going to be used to it. They're practicing there. Give me the Buccaneers home dog here, and both teams come out. Oh no, the Bucs would be 3-1 then after this, and the Eagles would be then at 500 at 2-2. I'm going to take the points in the Buccaneers.
Okay, be a big win for either one of these teams in the NFC.
Oh, absolutely. This is a low key huge game right now.
Yeah, kind of.
Eagles and Buccaneers, and don't forget, like if you're a team and you're going to be vying for playoff seeding and wild card spots, having that conference win is huge in the tiebreaker. So if you're a fan of a team and they lose a game, you would much rather lose to the other conference than lose a game against your own conference because of those tiebreakers.
And obviously divisions times 2 almost.
Yeah. Yep. We got the Washington Commanders at the Arizona Cardinals, the 2-1 Commanders.
We already picked this one, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay. Yeah, I know we get confused with our 6-pack situation.
And we both took the Arizona Cardinals. Sorry, I got double excited for that game. That's why you picked
it. Could be a lot of points. Start your fantasy guys in it.
I am less excited for Chiefs and Chargers. Do we have an update on Justin Herbert for the Chargers here in this one?
No, they've been quiet about it, but I would be blown away if he plays. I'm almost certain Alt and Slater will not play, and to me, that just screams Chiefs. But I'm looking at 7. Is that what you're looking at here?
Yeah, 7 points on the road. 7-point favorites are the 3-0 Chiefs at the Los Angeles Chargers.
I bet there's a lot of red in the stadium, though. I mean, I know that's a road trip, but the Chiefs don't cover as often as people think, though. Like, they're not this high-flying offense. And I think there's some traps. You just think they blow everybody out. They really don't. But I think the Chargers are in a rough spot.
Yeah, Chiefs don't cover when they're the favorite, but Patrick Mahomes is like only one time not covered when they're the underdog or something like that.
And they never lose to a division opponent.
Yeah. 7, yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs. There's, I mean, come on. You probably don't even want to put your quarterback out there if you don't have your tackles anyway. If he's banged up, they're going to run the ball and try to and keep it close. But, I mean, Chiefs, come on. If you can't win this one by a touchdown against the Chargers with no quarterback and no tackles, give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think they might blow them out here, even though what I said, right?
We got 49ers, Patriots. We got Bills, Ravens, and more. A couple Monday Nighters as well. Making picks for week 4 of the NFL schedule next. The next segment of Peacock and Williamson is sponsored by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It's time, NFL fans, to start the season with a big return on FanDuel. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. And when you get a hunch in the middle of game day, you can check the stats, all the latest stats, the live play-by-play, and so much more on the very same page where you place your bets at FanDuel.com. So make sure you download the app and go to FanDuel.com to sign up and get a free bonus of bets and bet on all these weekly lines. And we get all of our lines here when we're making our picks from FanDuel. And not only NFL, maybe we'll find some other bets in some other sports. And they've got it all at FanDuel, and year-long bets as well. Bet on your team to win the Super Bowl. Bet on your coach to be coach of the year. Bet on your rookie to be offensive or defensive rookie of the year, and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com, or download the app. Again, go to FanDuel.com to get started. The San Francisco 49ers are in last place right now in the NFC West, Matt, and they are hosting the New England Patriots, and the last place 49ers are favored by 10 points.
Pretty banged up too, right? I mean, when I know Hargrave's out, Debo's out, Kittle's out.
Hargrave's backup, Jordan Elliott, was carted off the field with a foot injury yesterday at practice. He's listed as limited, so getting really narrow on the depth chart there on the defensive line for the 49ers. And look, they haven't gotten a lot of pass rush from the guys on the outside. Bosa's got a couple sacks and very few pressures otherwise. And the 49ers haven't been winning up front like they have in the past. The problem is, you look at this game and the Patriots, like, okay, the 49ers haven't been able to get off the field on third down. Well, the Patriots are awful on third down. The Patriots haven't really been able to run, like all the things the Patriots could take advantage of that maybe the Rams were able to take advantage of in the second half last week. I don't know if the Patriots can, but 10 points feels like a lot. I'm definitely taking the 49ers straight up in this game at home. I don't know what the Patriots can take advantage of right now, because the Patriots, that first win, it looks a lot less good as it did when they beat the Bengals in week 1, because the Bengals have a worse record than anybody else in the league.
Man, it just seems like since the Niners have sputtered, they're due to blow somebody out. And Purdy's going to throw 4 touchdowns. And whether it's Jennings or Ayuk or whomever, I just envision the Patriots trying to play small ball like crazy, keep this thing close, win on special teams. But I think they're going to lose by 2 touchdowns.
Well, that is one
exactly how it go. Yeah,
that's one place the Patriots can beat the Niners as special teams. The Niners have been pretty bad on special teams.
They have, huh?
This year. Yeah. So I'm actually going to take the Patriots and 10 points and think they can keep it within a couple scores here potentially, but definitely take the Niners straight up and would not put my real hard-earned cash on this game.
I'm pretty sure this is the first double-digit spread of the year.
Yeah, I think it is. We've had some 7.5s, but I don't think we've had anything approaching 10. And it is strange to have a 1-2 team favored by 10 points.
And at the beginning of the year, I bet this spread was 14. You know how they do those preseason spread. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's dropped to 10. It has to drop a little bit, which I'm kind of side-eyeing the 49ers right now. Come on, Niners. You gotta get it together. You gotta win up front. And they still have a good staff and some things they can do on defense. Keon White can beat Colton McKivitz for a sack. They've got some ways that they can keep it close. Special teams, they're going to try to run the ball. 49ers haven't been amazing stopping the run. They've got some problems in the interior of the defensive line now. So yeah, I'm going to take the points, but I don't predict an upset by the Patriots either.
It wouldn't shock me if the Patriots muddied it up, but I'm just smelling a blowout here.
The Baltimore Ravens can't fall to 1-3 in that division in the AFC North, Matt. They're at 1-2, and they're hosting the Buffalo Bills, who are coming in at 3-0, coming in red hot. Baltimore favored, though, in this game by 2.5 points. Am I crazy? Am I putting too much stock into what I've seen in the first few weeks of the season? I'm taking the Bills easy and taking points with the Buffalo Bills right now. That seems like stealing money on Sunday night.
100%. I don't get it. I'm not sure that they should be a dog against anybody. I might even have Bills number one in my power ranks. I think their front is going to cause a lot of problems for the Baltimore O-line. Now, if Lamar and Henry are gouging them like they did the Cowboys, then we got a long day. But I give the quarterback edge to Allen right now. I mean, Allen's playing out of his mind, and I think they've really found something on offense. I know no one's really running on the Ravens, but I think Buffalo will. But people are throwing on them like crazy. Give me points, no doubt.
Yeah,
I think this team will travel well.
Right. And it's not that the Ravens can't win this game, but I just think it's, you're getting 4.5 free points because I think it should be the Bills favored by 2 instead of the Baltimore Ravens favored by 2.5.
I thought this should be a pick 'em.
Yeah. Let's go to Monday Night Football, and there's two of them.
BP, crazy enough, I don't know that the Ravens have a kicker edge over most teams anymore. I mean, everybody's banging 50-yarders left and right except for Tucker.
Tucker has to give the crown to Aubrey, by the way, as best kicker in the NFL right now. And every kicker in the league is just banging through 50-plus yarders, except Tucker right now.
Except for Tucker. It's bizarre. And he's not the best guy in the league anymore.
I have a feeling a lot of folks about 45 minutes into this early Monday nighter, Titans-Dolphins are going to switch over to the Lions. How do you see this one? Miami favored by 1 point right now at 1-2, and just questions in the quarterback room all over the place now with Tyler. I'm blanking on his name now.
Huntley's going to play, I think.
So Tyler Huntley is going to play. Okay. Because who's the – I'm blanking on who the other quarterback even is.
Now Skylar Thompson.
Skylar Thompson, thank you.
He's questionable, so I'm not sure.
Tyler and Skylar together in my head, and it was really messing me up. He's day-to-day. Will he play? I don't know. Does it even matter? I don't know. But Miami still at home is favored by 1 because Will Levis hasn't been playing well either, and that Titans team is in trouble at 0-3. Do you take the point? Do you take the home team in sort of a pick 'em here? Miami favored by 1. I don't know what to do here.
I think the Titans D is the best unit of the 4 and keeps this thing close, although Simmons is fighting something as well. I think someone like Snead can at least slow down Tyreek considering the quarterback configuration, and they're probably going to feed Chan a ton. I don't have much respect for the Dolphins defense, though. Give me the Titans, but Levis could kill me with a pick 6 or something.
Tyler Huntley, you go full Wildcat. I'm gonna credit Mike McDaniel with the ability to make something happen with that offense. Mm-hmm. And since they're at home, I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins in a game that I wouldn't touch.
Yeah. Again, I think everyone's going to view into this next one very soon.
It is the Detroit Lions. Yeah, the Detroit Lions at home hosting the Seattle Seahawks, the unbeaten Seattle Seahawks. Detroit favored by 3.5 in the late Monday nighter.
That half's enough for me to take Seattle. I mean, I think Geno might even be better than Goff. I think Seattle's D is legit and can rush the passer. I like what this coaching staff has done a lot in Seattle, but I will say of the 3-0 teams, their wins are the least impressive. Pittsburgh's probably right there too. Detroit's the better team, but Seattle's good, and I believe that. And I think that they can go toe-to-toe with them. Geno versus Goff is a fair fight or even favors the Seahawks.
I'm really interested in this because I think we're going to learn a lot about both these teams. I do think they're both good, but I don't think they've been super impressive versus what their opponents have been. And the Lions are 2-1 right now, and barely skating away from a victory in one of their wins. And so this is more of a popcorn game, more of a learning experience, I think, for me, which makes me want to take the points here. And take those Seattle Seahawks on the road. And yeah, I think that's one of the stories for the Seahawks is, we know Geno Smith, and he's an underrated guy in the NFL, and he's got DK Metcalf and Jackson Smith and Jigba. When they want to use him, can be a target heavy guy over the middle of the field, but they've spread it around and gone other ways too. And then those young pass rushers they have on defense, you got Derek Hall and Boye Mafe developing, and
he's playing really well.
And clearly they can coach up a defensive unit with that new coaching staff. So I like that a lot. And I'm really interested to see how this game looks. I am going to take the Seahawks and take those points.
Yep. If it was 2.5, I'd have a more difficult time, but 3.5 to me is a little bit insulting to Seattle for what they've accomplished this year.
I agree. There you go. That is the schedule for week 4 in the NFL. Let us know what you think about our picks. And if you're watching the games this weekend and you have some thoughts and you want to get involved in our mailbag, then hit us up at BD Peacock at Williamson NFL, or drop a question in the YouTube comments. Subscribe while you're there. Matt and I back Monday to break it all down right here. Peacock and Williamson.